Hey cats, Ed Midsole Bud here. Sometime Nike seem hell-bent on making wider and wider running shoes. They're just so bulky underfoot. The weight has been going up when we keep being told that the performance is getting better. I'm not so sure. We've seen a move away from Bowerman's original ethos of decreasing weight and bulk to increase performance. But what if we could experience a better Nike running shoe? So I got my saw out and I made a few modifications. And I actually took them out for a run to see just how good they were. Welcome to the channel, guys. If it's your first time here, where have you been? Help out the channel to continue to grow by hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell below for notifications when we launch the new videos for you. And that's most days. Give this video a thumbs up, like, and also share it with your running buddies. If you've got a particular comment or a question perhaps you want to get straight to me, hit us up with a super thanks. It's much appreciated. Now, this one originally came in at about 359 grams in my UK size 11, so US size 12. So you're talking about 12.6 ounces if that's your sort of thing. I mean, this is never going to be somebody's race shoe choice, is it? Well, maybe we can change that with the use of the saw. There was lots of overhanging foam on the lateral and medial sides of the shoe, and especially round the heel. There isn't any more. It's about 2.2 centimeters actually I've taken off of this original pair of Invincible Run Flyknits. I think these have got about 200 miles at least on before I started messing around with my saw. 100 miles of running. I then used them as a casual shoe. In fact, I even painted a metal fence wearing these the other day. They've seen a lot of action. I did catch the back of one of the shoes on a metal stairwell as well, which sort of ripped the foam. So I thought, why not? Let's experiment on them. So it's not like a brand new shoe I've just taken out of the box and ripped apart. So don't worry, you can sleep at night. So we've got a slightly more nimble version of the Zoomx Invincible Run Flyknit now. I'm going to call it the Invincible Run X. So we've got some decreased measurements here, certainly in terms of underfoot surface area. We've lost about a centimetre in terms of the midfoot surface area, and about 2 centimetres in the heel, about 2.2 centimetres at the back of the shoe. Maybe I did get a little overzealous perhaps back there. If I'd put a slight angle on it, it might have been better, but just hang fire until I tell you about the performance of the shoe. We've lost about 45 grams off of the Invincible Run, so that brings it down to about 314 grams, I think. 1.6 ounces lost, guys. That's a huge saving. Imagine lugging that around for like 10 miles or something. You'd know about it. So initially just walking around in the shoe, I didn't find it particularly different at all. In fact, it almost felt as if the foam was compressing more for me back in the heel. Didn't really feel that much different to the Flyknit 2. I've kept those in pristine condition, although I may do this customization to those as well. With Flyknit 2s there, you can see we've lost quite a bit of underfoot surface area. Mostly in the heel though, that's where we've lost the majority of the bulk. I will say, don't go and do this yourselves, guys. I wouldn't say I'm a professional, but please don't go cutting up your shoes. Just go and run in them. I think you'll probably get more enjoyment, unless you've got a responsible adult that can get the Black & Decker workbench out and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Stay safe, people. I think if you walk in a very extreme way on your heel, then you might start to feel a little unstable. But other than that, it's almost exactly per the other pair, but more nimble and light. So running-wise, how does it shape up? Now it's got a more streamlined profile. I hit it for a 7-mile effort with 3 by 8 minutes at threshold pace. So a nice sort of easy effort, I suppose. Probably better ways to test it, but hey, you know, got to give it a proper test, haven't you? Can't just bimble around the cul-de-sac or something. You've got to really put it to the test. So we did get a bit of recovery sort of pace in there as well, some warm up and warm down. Is the stability of the shoe really hindered that much by losing all that extra foam? I've got to be honest, no. It was absolute dynamite. I went about those threshold efforts with some real diligence. It's a real nice temperature actually, and I felt kind of up for it. The shoe just made me feel like I'm in uncharted territory, you know? Like, is this going to work? Is it not? It was actually really quite exciting. I found the shoe to be sprightly, nimble, and still very, very cushioned. Don't forget as well that this shoe has had loads of use, walking miles and miles. At one point it was covered in hammerite paint. It's pretty worn. It's certainly been worn in or broken in, and it felt fantastic at threshold pace. A more stable version perhaps of the Prime X, but it does lack the roll and pop of that shoe. You can absolutely see why Nike have included a plate in things like the Vaporfly Next Percent and the Alphafly Next Percent. Does perhaps provide a little bit more stability, or sort of halving that foam slab rather than just having this unwieldy sort of compressive pillow underneath your foot. You're sort of halving that really, and I think that's perhaps what makes the magic of those shoes. I didn't really notice any problems using this one in terms of how narrow it is now. I certainly didn't miss the heel width at all when I was going at pace. It just wasn't really a consideration at all. The cutback custom version here felt like it wanted to move very quickly, and threshold pace was reasonably sustainable, even after I'd done a full day's work and eaten a massive Indian dinner that night. I can remember other times going out to try and do some easy runs after a big meal like that. It just wasn't going to happen, but yeah, I'd left it like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something, and I felt great. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as something like the Vaporfly Next Percent or the Alphafly, or even really the Prime X, but it definitely felt a lot more nimble. It didn't feel like I was carrying around anywhere near as much bulk, and did I miss that 4 foot extra surface area? And I didn't miss it at all. It's kind of like an amplified version of the Streakfly, I suppose, with vastly more underfoot cushion. It was just a less clunky, chunky and guided ride than I had before. Some people might be really excited and interested by that. Others might say, well, I like going slowly in this shoe. I want that extra surface area there. The width has never been a feature of this shoe that I felt I particularly needed, and I think that's proven now with these modifications that I made. I found that having the shoe at a slightly lower weight did help to increase my cadence a little bit. I mean, we're talking 1.6 ounces or 45 grams there that we've lost. That did help to get the cadence up, hitting around 170 steps per minute, maybe a little bit lower than a race. I did see some runners mentioning that the very wide midfoot lateral bulge in the Invincible Run Flyknit did make them pronate too much. So the shoe just seems to keep out the way a little bit more now, something that's very usable in fact for some higher pace training. Less midsole, who would have thought that that would actually make for a better shoe? Actually reducing it down a little bit seems to have improved this one quite considerably. So that does beg the question as to what made Nike expand the midsole out so much in pretty much all of their running shoe lineup at the moment. There's only a handful of different shoes that haven't got that feature. Not doing this seems to really benefit Adidas quite a lot. Loads of their models are much more narrow and they just work fine for me. In fact, I was kind of influenced to do this by my love of the Adios 6 and 7. Quite a narrow shoe by modern comparisons. Perhaps this will inspire you to customize your own pair of the Invincible Run. If you do, please take care. Maybe Nike are watching? If so, maybe they'll be interested to make a more Bowerman-influenced version of the Invincible Run in the future. Just a quick couple of comparisons for you. This shoe now pretty much has the same midfoot and heel surface area as the Speed 3 from Saucony. Amazingly, we're coming in slightly narrower than the Zoomfly 5 as well, and pretty much exactly the same underfoot surface area as per the Pegasus Turbo Next Nature. Though if we compare it to something like the Adios Pro 2 or the Adios 7, we're still coming in much wider in the heel here. Stats for you because I know you love them. So this custom version, 314 grams at 11.1 ounces. We've got 11.5 centimeters in the forefoot area at the widest point, 8.7 in the heel. I've reduced it down by 2.2 centimeters at the back of the shoe as well. The original was 359 grams, 12.6 ounces, and we have 12.7 centimeters in the forefoot at the widest point, and 10.6 centimeters in the heel. So a massive saving there in the heel. It's much more narrow now. What do you make of my customizations? Have I completely lost it this time? Actually, I think my Strava data there shows that I haven't, and I might be onto something. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. a quick musical interlude for you. Today coming from the famous Status Quo. I can't remember exactly which album this appears on, it's certainly one of the earlier ones from the Quo, but Bye Bye Johnny is amongst one of the very best that they ever did. It has this wild, reckless abandon that is unmatched by other bands. The pace, the speed, pure energy produced in Bye Bye Johnny is fantastic. It sounds like the band are having a fantastic time as well playing the song. Sometimes you hear bands going through the motions, it just sounds very middle of the road. I think perhaps even the Quo started to do that in the 80s a little bit, certainly late 80s into the 90s, but we're back in the 70s here when it's vintage Quo. It's just breakneck pace here, completely different really to how Chuck Berry played it originally, and it's certainly one that you need to check out and listen to. Put it into your running playlist, it will undoubtedly make you run faster. Just lifts up the adrenaline levels a little bit, which is exactly what you need sometimes when you're training, when you're trying to get into a run and you're thinking, I'd just like to go home and have a nice steak and ale pie and a cup of tea or something like that, but you've got to get the run done, and Bye Bye Johnny's there for you. Go and check it out, guys, from the Status Quo, Bye Bye Johnny. Thanks for tuning in, people. It's always appreciated. If you're yet to do so, hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications when we roll out the new videos for you. Give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's Eddbud, and I'll be seeing you